Hi everyone, Shannon here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be painting a metallic watercolor beach scene inside of letters. So let's jump right into it. Before we start painting, we need to add some lines to know where each color will go. So I'm going to draw in the horizon line about 1/3 of the way at the top of the letter. This is just the line where the sky will meet the sea. Then I'm going to draw in the line where the waves meet the sand, and I'm going to make it very wavy, and I'm not leaving a lot of space for the sand because I won't have many details there, so I won't need that much area. So when you're ready to start adding color, I'm going to start with the sky. I am using the color Jellyfish, which is a really nice blue. And I'm just going to evenly fill the top of all of the letters. Before we start painting the sea, we need to make sure that the sky is completely dry, because if it isn't, you will have the paint running into each other where they meet along the horizon line. So once the sky is completely dry, you can go in with your mid-tone blue, which in this case is Coral Sea, and just fill in that space between the sand and the sky. As you approach the line you drew in for the waves, try not to go over it. You're just going to leave just a little bit of space. Then while the paint is still wet, you're going to add in just a few drops of your darker blue and lightly blend in the darker shade of blue in a few areas to create a little bit of variation. So once you're finished adding in the sea, you don't have to wait for it to dry. You can move on to this sand because they're not going to be touching. So you're just going to add in some of that sandy color along the bottom of the letter. Make sure that you leave some white space in between the two colors. Now I ended up not liking how dark the bright gold glitz was, so I just added some starfish, which is a nice yellowish color, to just make it a little bit more brighter. So the sand is going to be a mixture of starfish and bright gold glitz. So the next step is to add the clouds to the sky. So I'm using Ball Drop, which is a nice opaque metallic white. To paint the clouds, I'm just using a very small brush to draw some dots to form the shape of the cloud. And I'm then cleaning off the brush and using just some water to blend the bottom of the cloud into the sky. Once you've added clouds, you can move on to adding your waves. So using a small brush, you're going to draw in some tiny dots and short lines towards the horizon line, and as you come closer to the sand, you're going to make those lines bigger. Then we can move on to add in shadows. Now the color that I'm using for these shadows is called Navy. It is a very dark bluish color, but you can also use black and mix it in with one of the colors that you used for the sea. So you're just going to add that darker color underneath some of the waves. You don't need to underline the complete wave, just a few areas along the bottom, and it will create a really nice shadow effect. For the wave that is on the sand, you're just going to use very dark brown and add it underneath the wave the same way that you added it for the waves on the sea. So there wasn't enough variation for me in the white areas. So I just went back in with a Posca paint pen, added a few dots of paint, and then used my paintbrush to blend it into the clouds as well as the waves. Now that part was completely optional. You can leave it out. To finish off the piece, I decided to use a black fineliner to just draw a few simple birds. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I would love to see if you try it out. So feel free to share it on Instagram and tag me at by Shannon Lane so that I can see your work.